Welcome back to Up the Villa podcast, double upload day. So 2 episodes today. Before this, you will have had Unai Emery's press conference reaction. And now we have our game week prediction show. This was a brand new concept brought at the start of the season, but with the fixture congestion, what I've been doing and sort of how we're going through Europe and then not a short turnaround before games. I've been tying this in with the match preview when we are in Europe, but because we've got a full game week of sort of how I can structure this podcast, it works perfectly that I can do a standalone episode for this show. So what's it all about? At the start of the season, we created a league, and each week you will predict the games. If you get the score bang on, you get 3 points. If you get the result right, you get a point. You get put into our league table. The winner at the end of the season will win a football shirt hamper from myself. So I am playing this and I'm not doing too bad. So if we have a little look then at the league table of where we are, we've got Matthew Watts, who is currently sat at the top on his own with 106 points. And then it just filters down. I am currently in 17th place, joint 17th on 95 points. So I'm 9 points off the top. And then we've got all of these players that are currently playing in the league as well. So let's get stuck into it then. Game week. What game week are we? Is it 12? Game week 12 maybe? But yeah, right, here we go then. So first game, we've got Man City versus Liverpool. That's the early kickoff on Saturday. If we just have a little look at the Premier League table before we get started then. So Man City currently top on 28 points. 27, a point behind them. We've got Liverpool and Arsenal. Spurs and then Aston Villa, 3 points off the top. You love it, don't you, Villa fans? Absolutely love it. So, top two playing each other. How's that game going to go? I think it's at City. So, big advantage for City being at the Etihad. I don't really think City have got into their full flow. I think we know what happens with them. They get through that Christmas period and then they just go into general steamroller mode. Liverpool, I've been quite impressed with their recruitment. Szoboszlai has worked really well for them. I think it's going to be a tight game. These games are always, from what I remember, there's always goals in them. So I think for this one, I would go with a draw. So I'm going to go with a draw in this one. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. I think 2-2 will be, it's the early kickoff as well, isn't it, on Saturday? So we'll go 2-2 with that one. Burnley and West Ham, that's another tough game. I think Burnley desperately need points now. I think I'm starting to look at some of the teams at the bottom, and I thought Burnley would be okay. I predicted them to finish 15th at the start of the season. I thought they would be out of it and not in a relegation battle. But, you know, if I have to look at Luton and I look at Sheffield United, I think they've kind of got to grips with the Premier League a little bit better than Burnley have. I think Burnley are really reluctant to try and change their style too much. West Ham, they're up and down. 1 week their fan base is Moyes out. Well, pretty much they're always Moyes out, aren't they? And then next week they get a result and things are looking okay. They did all right at home against Forest. But I think this is starting to get to must-win territory for Burnley. And I think West Ham aren't the greatest of teams. I think they're okay. So I'm going to go with a Burnley 2-1 victory. Just like what I've said about Burnley, you got Luton at home here. And I'm looking at Luton, and we heard at the start of the season, didn't we, that Luton was going to be this hostile environment. It was going to be really loud. It was going to be really difficult for teams to go to. Kenilworth Road, I'm not really seeing it. I'm not really seeing that atmosphere that's sort of creating that hostile environment that it's a difficult place to go to. And I think they need to sort of harness that, and they need home wins. But there's two teams for me at the minute where I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, I don't actually rate them. I don't rate Palace and I don't rate Fulham. And I think those are two teams that have really got to sort of get their act together pretty quickly. I think Eze is fantastic for Palace. Elise is great, but apart from that, I'm not really a fan of them, to be fair. So this is a big game, and I think it's a big game for Luton, and it's one where the pressure's on. The pressure's on to get some wins now, because I don't actually think anything around 35 points will. I think it's going to be lower. I think the points tally this season, I think if anyone can get 30, 31 points, I think that might keep you up this season. So I'm going to go with a home win. I think Luton desperately need a win, and I'm going to go with a 1-0 Luton win. Newcastle against Chelsea. Chelsea is somewhat revitalised, but I think there's a blip around the corner for them. It feels like they are 3 steps forward, and I'll say 1 step backwards, and I think that's how they are at the minute. So they are doing okay. Newcastle, I'm not having the injuries. I'm not having it. I'm not being one of these fans that are going to come on here and say, like what the media are, there's loads of injuries for Newcastle. What a shame. And that's why they're losing games. At the end of the day, nobody gives Villa credit. Nobody looks at Villa's injuries and thinks, oh my God, they've got so many injuries to Mings, to Buendia, to Ramsey, who we had before, to Moreno. No one was mentioning that for Villa. But what did Villa do? We just got on with it. Who cares? Botman's out for Newcastle. Isak's been out. Get on with it. Just get on with it. Stop moaning. And that's what Villa have done. So I'm not having it. I think Chelsea might win this game, you know. I'm gonna go 2-1 Chelsea. I think Chelsea can get something against Newcastle. Forest, Brighton, will go 1-1 with that. I think Forest are great at home. Brighton look a little bit off it this season. I don't really think they're going to be challenging for top 6. I think they're just going to be falling short this season. I just got a funny vibe with them. This is a monster game. Bournemouth had a great win last time out. Sheffield United look revitalised. Let's go 1-1. It'll be tight. And then this will be a big game. Brentford, Arsenal. I'm going to go 2-2 with that one as well. So what you have to do is save your predictions, move on to the next day. So next up, we've got Spurs Villa. I might change my prediction from the match preview. I'm going to change my prediction. The more I've thought about this game, and I was on a Tottenham fan channel that is really good, actually, a great channel, and they were very, very worried. They've got a lad from TalkSport on as well, so they've got some quite, well, let's say he was articulate, an articulate guy that goes on TalkSport. Make it make sense, but they were all saying that they were very worried for Spurs, and that got me thinking, oh my God, like, if they're worried, then that says something. And then Holly, for the opposition preview, she was quite not confident. We know that Aston Villa have got to kind of sort the away, form out somewhat, and just a little bit more consistent and not lose away games. I think there's a big win coming for Villa. And I think we're going to be having some moments now where we get it right. My match preview score was 2-1 Villa. I think it was 2-1 Villa. But I'm changing it. I'm going 3-1 Villa is what I'm going for. That is going to be my prediction. 3-1 Villa. I won't talk about Villa too much, because what we have done all week is we've gone in depth with the match preview. We've gone in depth with the predicted lineup. We have spoke to Holly, the Spurs fan. We've had Unai's thoughts that were out earlier on. So you can get your teeth into all of that. Loads of content that's come out. So go ahead and enjoy it. If you haven't, if you're new and you've not watched us before, go and check out the channel. I'm sure you will like it, because we've got a lot of variety in what we do. No episode's the same. We have different concepts. So there you go. Loads of different concepts. So I'm going for a Villa 3-1 win. And then I'm going for an Everton 2-0 win. I think Everton are going to beat United. Can't wait to see the banners that they're going to hold up at the game as well. Not having United. They're in form at the minute, which is really surprising, but I'm still not having them. And we've got a Monday night game. We've got Wolves away at Fulham. And I'm going to go, because I think they need to win desperately, I'm going to go with a Fulham 1-0 win. I think Fulham have got to get some points. Otherwise, they are really going to be sucked into that relegation battle. If we have a look at the table, I'm looking at Palace, like, they're just not great, are they? You've got Fulham who are, not far off from that. But, I see these two teams here scrapping away. I think Everton are going to be fine after that points deduction. I think they'll comfortably get out of it. So those are my score predictions. So you've got to make sure you lock them in. So you've got to make sure you save them. And then as soon as the game finishes, I think the table updates itself. And then, you can climb the table. You can still enter. We're only 12 game weeks in. So, you can easily catch up if you start doing really, really well. So those are my predictions for this weekend's action. After this episode, we will have our match reaction on Sunday. We will have the debrief out on Monday. And then Tuesday, match preview for Europe. Wednesday, predicted lineup for Europe. Fan cams then on Thursday after the game. So loads of content to come. It's a busy, busy month. If you can help support the channel, subscribe, drop it a like, comment your thoughts. It's there for you guys to all comment and get involved. So hope you're enjoying the channel. Up the Villa.